When Cody Brown made his most recent admission, the cameras were already rolling, but Robyn was unprepared for what he said. His golden curls were wild, his arms were crossed, and his tone was brimming with conceit as he sat back in his chair. "Robyn," he replied bluntly, "I'm worthy of better. My life needs some excitement. I'd like a younger, more attractive wife." Robyn briefly believed she had misheard him. Her chest constricted and her stomach fell. Her voice was shaking as she said, "What did you just say?" Cody didn't recoil. He leaned forward, as if he were proud of himself, if anything. "This family has been with me for years. Nobody recognizes the sacrifices I've made. I need something new now. A trophy wife. Someone who restores my sense of life." The words were like glass shards. Robyn's eyes filled with tears and her cheeks burned. When the others had abandoned him, she had been his pillar of support and his most devoted companion. He was humiliating her on national television after she had stood up for him, consoled him, and made sacrifices for him. Robyn cried down in her confessional, her cheeks streaked with mascara. Hey, hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel TLC Flicks. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Her voice cracked as she muttered, "He didn't just betray me. He made me feel ashamed. He's prepared to discard me after everything I've sacrificed and gone through for him. Cody is mistaken, though, if he believes I'll just sit here and let him take my position. He is not as familiar with me as he believes." As the action came to a close, Robyn was standing across the living room from him, her eyes hardening with resolution despite her pale complexion. Cody's beloved wife was staring at him with fire instead of affection for the first time. That night, Robyn didn't sleep. "I want a younger, hotter wife," was one of Cody's nasty remarks that kept replaying in her mind. It wasn't only the betrayal, it was also his haughtiness and the way he spoke as if she were worthless and useless. Her tears had dried before dawn, and a fresh fire of rage blazed within her. She needed a conversation partner. Not just anybody, though. Christine and Janelle were the only two people in the world who truly understood what it was like to be replaced. Robyn met them at a quiet cafe a few days later. In the hopes that no one would recognize her, she continued to wear sunglasses. Christine smirked a little as she entered, raising an eyebrow as though she already understood the purpose of the situation. Calm but intrigued, Janelle followed. Robyn wasted no time in sitting down with him. She said sharply in a whisper, "He told me that he wants a younger, hotter wife. A trophy wife. This is how he pays me back for everything I've done for him." Christine laughed icily as she crossed her arms and sat back in her chair. "Robyn, you know now. I was harmed by him. He exposed Janelle to it. He will never be content. Look where you ended up after being the favored once." Robyn's eyes hardened, yet her lips quivered. She said, "I thought I was different. I believed he would never, however, I was mistaken." Janelle's tone was calm but sharp as she leaned forward. "Then perhaps it's time for you to stop playing the victim. Cody will remain the same. You must regain your authority if you wish to live." As she sipped her coffee, Christine grinned. Give him a taste of his own medicine, perhaps. For a while, Robyn sat quietly, her heart racing. The concept was exhilarating, provocative, and dangerous. She nodded slowly. Her voice was low and harsh as she murmured, "Payback." The alliance was formed in an instant. Cody told the cameras that the family meal was meant to be a time of togetherness. With the type of pride that only he could conjure, he had seated everyone around a large table. As he began one of his speeches about his vision and the new future of the family, his voice could be heard clearly throughout the room. Robyn sat at the far end, her expression serene, almost serene. Her heart thumped inside. It was her time. Knowing what was going to happen, Christine and Janelle kept a tight eye on her. Cody pushed his chest out as he stood. "I have made more sacrifices for this family than anyone else," he said. "And I believe it's time for me to begin leading the life I've earned. A life I'm excited about. I really need a younger, more attractive wife." "It's funny that you said that." The words cut like a razor through the air. Everyone looked in Robyn's direction. Setting down her fork, she used a napkin to wipe her mouth and grinned charmingly. "Want a bride that is younger and more attractive?" "That's okay," she said calmly. "Because I have also been conversing with someone. He is younger. He's more attractive." Additionally, Cody respects me, in contrast to you. There was silence in the room. Cody's face went pale as he froze. Janelle and Christine exchanged sly looks, their grins scarcely disguised. You what? Cody choked on his food as he mumbled. Robyn sat back in her chair, relaxed and at ease. Cody, you're not the only person who can trade up. Perhaps you ought to consider what it would be like to be the one abandoned. Cody's hands clenched at the table as his jaw grew stiff. His angry voice trembled. You have no right to degrade me in this way. Before them. Before the cameras. Robyn, however, did not recoil. She wasn't the obedient, faithful favorite for the first time. She was the one who had been overpowered and was now retaliating. Cody's expression twisted in rage throughout his confessional. She caught me off guard. I was betrayed by her. I was meant to have Robyn. And she's behaving like I'm worthless now? No. I refuse to be outplayed by her. In her own confessional, however, Robyn grinned through her glistening tears. I was everything to him for years. He wants to take my place now. Cody is mistaken, though, if he believes I'll leave peacefully. This is only the start. With Robyn sitting erect and her head held high, Christine and Janelle sharing smug glances, and Cody storming out, the dinner ended in mayhem. The change of power had started. The commotion in Robyn's room was deafening, despite the unusually calm house. As she packed, tears smeared her face, clothes tumbled from hooks, and shoes thudded into an open suitcase. Every time the shirt was folded or the zipper was snapped, it was a declaration that she was tired of being made fun of. Heavy footsteps sounded from the hallway. Cody's voice came next, piercing and frantic. Robyn, what are you doing? She didn't respond. After packing the suitcase with her remaining possessions, she tugged it closed. Cody was standing in the doorway, his face white with surprise, as she turned at last. Are you going to leave? His voice wavered between incredulity and rage. Over a single discussion? More than one comment. Robyn had fire in her eyes. A single remark? She spat. You told me directly that I wasn't sufficient. That you desired a younger, more attractive person. How does hearing that make you feel? To be humiliated on camera by the man you gave up everything for? With his hands extended as if to stop her, Cody took a step forward. You're exaggerating. That's not how I meant it. My wife is still you. Robyn gripped the handle of her bag and shook her head. No, Cody. Your favorite was me. Your defense. You've now made it plain that I'm simply another lady you'll eventually discard. However, I refuse to wait for you to take my place. Rolling her bag down the hall, she pushed past him. Every moment of the unraveling was captured by the cameras that followed. Robyn! Cody yelled and ran after her. You don't simply leave. We have more to say. Then Robyn stopped at the main door. Her face was drenched with tears, but as unyielding as steel as she turned slowly. Oh, she remarked icily, we're done. You desired a more attractive, younger wife? All right. Let's observe your reaction when I make the trade-up. She then opened the door and went outside into the darkness. The door banged behind her, and the wheels of the luggage clattered against the porch stairs. Cody clenched his hands and stood motionless, his chest heaving. The man who had always been in charge appeared helpless for the first time. As Robyn pulled her suitcase down the street, away from the brown home that had once been her entire universe, the night air felt cold on her tear-streaked face. She felt both free and afraid for the first time in years. Although Cody's shadow no longer followed her around, she now had to make decisions about her true self without him. Her thoughts were racing as she checked into a peaceful motel on the outskirts of town. She was by herself in the antiseptic room, gazing at her image in the mirror. The modest, obedient wife was no longer the woman who gazed back. Her jaw was fixed, and her eyes were more acute. For the first time, Robyn was considering ways to ruin Cody rather than ways to keep him safe. Christine and Janelle's messages buzzed across her phone. Christine, have you completed it? Have you left? Janelle, the cameras were cut. He's going downhill. Excellent. Robyn replied back, grinning through her tears. Yes. And it's not finished yet. I will cause him to regret everything. Later that week, away from the prying eyes of Flagstaff gossip, Robyn met with Christine and Janelle in a dimly lit wine bar. She filled them in on everything, including how Cody pleaded at the door, how she walked out without turning around, and how he was now falling apart since his favorite wife had betrayed him. Christine smiled wickedly as she leaned closer. He believed you to be untouchable at all times. You have now changed the course of events. Excellent. Allow him to feel helpless. Janelle gave a nod. But Robyn, don't stop here. You must demonstrate to him that he is replaceable if you truly want to get under his skin. Look for a younger person. Someone with whom he cannot compete. Robyn paused for a second, her palm shaking as she held the wine glass. It was a daring, perilous, and delightful concept. She grinned slowly. Perhaps I will. That evening, she took out her laptop in her hotel room. As she looked for dating sites, social media connections, and even former friends who could still be alive, her fingers lingered over the keyboard. She wasn't yet searching for love. She desired retribution. A man who would show the world that Robyn Brown wasn't abandoned but rather improved, a man who would make Cody quiver with jealousy. Her determination solidified in her chest as she closed the laptop. She muttered to the empty room, "Cody, it's your turn to hurt. It's your turn to experience being replaced." Robyn found what she was looking for quickly. She found him, Ryan, after several days of late-night scrolling and thoughtfully composed texts. He was mid-30s, well-dressed, self-assured, and charming, everything Cody wasn't. When they video-talked for the first time, his smile glowed on the screen, and Robyn felt like a woman again, not just a dumped wife, for the first time in months. Her emotions to telling Janelle and Christine about him were invaluable. Christine clapped her hands and started laughing. "Oh, when Cody sees this guy, he's going to go crazy." Janelle grinned. "You made the best choice possible. More youthful, attractive, prosperous. Cody's darkest dread has just been discovered by you." A week later, Robyn went to a hip restaurant to meet Ryan in person. As she entered wearing a sleek black dress that exuded confidence, the cameras silently followed. With a gentleman's elegance, Ryan pulled out her chair and stood to greet her. Robyn blushed for the first time in years, but it was from excitement rather than embarrassment. Ryan leaned in during dinner, his voice warm and low. "How a man could treat you as though you are unworthy is beyond me. Robyn, you look amazing, both inside and out." Her heart was racing. She had been dying to hear these words, the affirmation that Cody had torn from her. She grinned, allowing her eyes to shine for the cameras to capture. This was about regaining her authority, not just about romance. Later, Robyn was candid in her confessional. "Cody want a more attractive, younger wife? All right. I have a younger, more attractive man now. Additionally, he will finally understand what it's like to be left behind when he sees Ryan." Meanwhile, Robyn's new link quickly became known. Christine and Janelle gloated. The staff murmured, and Cody found out in the worst manner possible. By a leaked picture of Robyn and Ryan together, grinning, with her hand lightly resting on his arm. Cody's expression upon seeing it was one of unadulterated, volcanic wrath. "She believes she can take my place?" He paced like an animal in a cage while spitting in his confessional. Nobody can take Cody Brown's position. Nobody. Control was something Cody had always taken pride in. Authority over the wives, the family, and the story. However, his meticulously constructed empire fell apart the instant he laid eyes on that picture of Robyn and Ryan laughing together, her hand resting softly on his arm. His thunderous voice was captured on tape as he stormed through the Flagstaff home. "She's making me look bad. Me. Despite everything I've done for her, she still shows off her guy toy?" A coffee mug fell to the floor as he pounded his fist against the kitchen counter. His words spiraled. His face was hot, and his hair were wild. "I own this family. I was meant to have Robyn till the very end. She's making me seem foolish now." He paced like a stymied animal during his confessional, where the outburst persisted. "She is intentionally doing this. Her goal is to harm me. She wishes to demonstrate to the world my throwaway nature. However, I am not expendable. This family was created by myself. None of them are anything without me." Desperation cracked in his voice. Robyn, meanwhile, was cool, collected, and glowing. She was holding Ryan's hand when they arrived at Christine's house. Smiling barely controlled, Christine opened the door. Ryan's confident handshake and relaxed smile were captured on camera as he introduced himself. He said with assurance, as though he belonged, "It's a pleasure to meet you all." Robyn was radiant, leaning against him and laughing naturally. She expressed her happiness in her confessional. "Cody desired my breakage. Rather, I'm more content than I've been in years. I'm sick and tired of living in his shadow, no matter how angry he gets. He is currently the one observing from the sidelines." Cody burst out when he finally saw them together in person. Robyn standing next to Ryan, their chemistry evident. He yelled across the yard, his voice cracking. "Robyn, do you believe he can take my place? Do you believe that this brief affair gives you power?" Robyn did not recoil. "He doesn't have to replace you, Cody," she said, giving him a steady, icy look. "As soon as you told me I wasn't enough, you replaced yourself." As Christine and Janelle watched from the porch, chuckling at the disintegration of the man who had believed he was untouchable, Cody's face twisted with anger, and his voice rose into a yell. For the first time in Sister Wives history, the cameras witnessed Cody Brown lose everything in real time, rather than merely a family in dispute. The following morning, Robyn awoke with a sense of freedom she hadn't had in years. Her bag, which was now well packed with the necessities of her existence, glinted in the sunlight that flooded through the motel window. She was no longer merely Cody's wife. She was now an independent, irrepressible woman. Ryan smiled warmly at her as he waited in the foyer. "Are you prepared to begin the day?" he inquired. Robyn nodded, a confident smile on her own face. As they strolled through the town together, cameras surreptitiously recorded everything. Everywhere they went, to restaurants, parks, and stores, Robyn exuded an elegance and vitality that made others notice them. Anyone observing could tell she was no longer living in Cody's shadow because she smiled unrestrainedly and her voice could be heard over the din of the metropolis. Cody was previously aware of Robyn's public appearances with Ryan back in Flagstaff. He roamed the house while murmuring to himself and mentally reliving every picture, every video clip, and every instance of her happiness. He admitted in front of the camera, "She's rubbing it in. She wants me to recognize my losses. She wishes for me to feel helpless. And it's functioning." Robyn didn't care though. Later that week, Christine and Janelle celebrated her newfound independence by joining her for brunch. Christine's glass went up. Finally, Robyn is the woman she has always been. Robust, indestructible, and impervious to touch. Janelle grinned. Not to mention that she is giving Cody a lesson he will never forget. Robyn chuckled as she reveled in the respect and attention she had long been denied. Not only had she recovered her strength in dating someone new, but she had also regained her life, her self-esteem, and her confidence. "I was his favorite, and he threw me aside," she remembered in her confessional. "I didn't break though. I didn't break down. I got up. And now, I can't be stopped. The joke's on him, but he tried to make me look bad. No matter what he does, I will continue to shine brighter than before." When nightfall finally arrived, Robyn and Ryan were back at the hotel, giggling and reminiscing about the day. She felt more alive than she had in years as she gazed out the window at the city lights. Cody, meanwhile, was furious as he sat by himself in his house and watched social media videos of Robyn's day. She had transformed everything he believed to be untouchable, his dominance, his control, and his favorite wife, into a display of her own might. Robyn's success was more than just a personal triumph. It was irrevocable, public, and indisputable. She knew in her heart that this was just the beginning. There was the peaceful buzz of an empty house as Cody sat in his study. Once a stronghold of authority, the walls now seemed like a prison. Every inch of the house he still regarded as his domain was plagued by Robyn's laughing, her glowing pictures with Ryan, and her increasing independence. He paced back and forth while whispering to the camera, "I can't let this happen. I created this family. I managed to keep it together. And now she's making a joke out of it all. I will not tolerate it." He made snap decisions as a result of his desperation. He demanded that the other wives step in and phone them. He uttered the words, "She's embarrassing me," in a frustrated tone. "We must get her back before things get out of hand." But Christine grinned, her voice cold. "She's not returning, Cody. She made up her mind. Perhaps it's time for you to accept it. Janelle gave a nod. Cody, you wanted a younger, more attractive wife. She has discovered someone who genuinely values her. Perhaps the roles have finally been reversed. Cody, however, paid no attention. First, he attempted subtly manipulating people with phone calls, ambiguous threats, and reminders of family and loyalty. Robyn escalated after ignoring them. She was already gone for the day, grinning next to Ryan in town when he unexpectedly showed up at the hotel where she was staying. His annoyance was captured on camera as he paced the parking lot, smashed his fists on doors, and muttered to himself. Every time Cody tried to regain control, it ended in humiliation, and the world watched as he fell farther and further into despair. Cody acknowledged in his confessional, "I've never lost control like this. Not only is she abandoning me, but she is also rendering me unimportant. Every action I do and every strategy one attempt ends in failure. And I find it intolerable." Robyn, meantime, flourished. She subtly teased Cody on social media by showing fleeting moments of happiness and independence from her life with Ryan. From the sidelines, Christine and Janelle took in the situation's poetic justice. The Brown family's patriarch wasn't in charge for the first time. He was helpless, defensive, and reactionary. And each unsuccessful effort to retake authority just strengthened Robyn's ascent. Everyone watching could see by the end of the week that Robyn, who was radiant, self-assured, and unstoppable, had won the first significant wins and that Cody Brown was losing the war. There was a hum of excitement around Flagstaff. The rumors had taken around like wildfire. Cody's rage and desperation were now unavoidable, and Robyn Brown, the once loyal wife, was publicly showing off her new life. The tension was being captured like a powder keg by rolling cameras everywhere. That night, Robyn showed up to a charity event looking stunning in a deep crimson dress that glistened in the lights. With his good looks and self-assurance, Ryan was by her side, introducing her to guests as though she were the celebrity she had always been destined to be. Photographers were frantically taking pictures, documenting every look, every grin, and every indication that Robyn had taken back control. Unable to resist the chance to take charge, Cody unexpectedly appeared. He surged in, his chest heaving with wrath and anguish, the cameras following him as his eyes searched for Robyn. "Robyn," he yelled, his voice piercing the throng. "We must speak." People turned. There were whispers. He had always sought to manage this spectacle, but he was losing this time. Robyn turned calmly, allowing her to be the center of attention. Ryan's kind hand on her back served as a subtle deterrent to Cody's fury. She whispered, "Cody," her voice rising above the whispers. "I don't believe there is anything else to discuss. You made a decision. I created my..." Cody took a step forward, his face contorted and crimson with anger. "You believe you can simply make me look bad like this? Are you going to stand here with him and pretend that you are untouchable?" Robyn had a defiant gleam in her eyes. "Cody, I'm not acting. I am now this person. I'm not apologizing, and I'm not going back. You said I wasn't sufficient. I've discovered someone who appreciates me. That is how we differ from one another." Sensing the tension between them, the crowd whispered. Christine and Janelle observed from the sidelines, grinning contentedly as Cody struggled ineffectually, understanding that he had lost control of the story as well as Robyn. Cody later confessed in an honest voice, "I've never felt so helpless. This family was created by me, and now even my favorite wife is not mine to keep. She has seized everything I believed to be mine, including my pride, authority, and control, and she has used it to further her own goals." Meanwhile, Robyn's confessional was glowing. "I was shoved to the side. I felt ashamed. I didn't break, though. I didn't plead. I got up. And Cody in particular is witnessing it. Now, this is my life. My enjoyment, my rules, and my decisions." As Robyn and Ryan walked arm in arm through the crowd as the gala came to a conclusion, Cody was left behind, feeling helpless, disappointed, and flustered. His shocked face was captured on camera as Robyn's laughter reverberated, signifying her triumph over shame and betrayal. The patriarch was totally overthrown for the first time in Sister Wives history, and Robyn Brown rose to prominence. After the event, the days were hectic. Robyn and Ryan became the buzz of Flagstaff and beyond after their public appearance. Every news organization that covered reality TV was abuzz about the dramatic confrontation between Robyn and Cody, and social media was ablaze with images and videos. Nevertheless, Robyn was unfazed. She embraced her independence, took long walks, and explored the city with Ryan in the mornings. She stopped gauging her pleasure by Cody's responses and the family's approval for the first time in years. Her main concern was herself. She was self-assured, radiant, and unstoppable. Janelle and Christine were supportive, going to events with her and gently reminding Cody that the balance of power had changed. Christine smiled mischievously over a breakfast and said, "You've made your move, Robyn. It's time to celebrate the win now. Allow him to stew in it." Cody's efforts to regain power, however, became more desperate and well-publicized. Through letters, phone calls, and even unannounced visits, he attempted to get in touch with Robyn, but each time just served to emphasize his irritation and helplessness. Every mistake was captured on camera, creating a picture of a man losing control of the very household he had once controlled. Cody's voice was a mixture of incredulity and rage during his confessional. "This is different from what I believed I could take. She has moved on and is doing well, and I have nothing left. Not her, not authority, not respect." Robyn gave herself permission to grin as she watched the same video in her own confessional. "He desired to disgrace me and take my place. However, take a look at who is now tall. I have my happiness, my life, and someone who genuinely appreciates me. Even though Cody used to be in charge, I've taken back my freedom, and no one can take that away from me." Robyn had solidified her independence at the season's finale. She was no longer concerned about Cody's plots or outbursts of rage. Her connection with Ryan gave her happiness, respect, and affection, which she hadn't had in years, and she was flourishing both personally and professionally. Cody, however, had to deal with the fallout from his conceit and treachery. With his pride broken, his authority eroded, and his family's devotion called into question, he had to face a new reality. The lady he had once degraded had risen higher than he could ever drag her down. Being a wife was no longer the focus of Robyn's story. She became an unstoppable force, unbreakable and immovable, after regaining her life, her dignity, and her power. A fresh storm was brewing just as Flagstaff was beginning to recover from the aftermath of the gala. With Ryan at her side, Robyn was prospering and had fully embraced her independence. Every social media post and public appearance exuded excitement and confidence. Rumors circulated throughout the city about her change from a faithful wife to a woman who had beaten Cody Brown at his own game. Cody was not finished, though. His ego and the public persona he had painstakingly built over the years were both damaged by Robyn's passing. He started planning because he was determined to take back control of the story as well as the family. His actions this time were deliberate, nuanced, and risky. He began by using veiled threats, apologies, and promises to try to persuade the other spouses. In a quiet, agitated voice, he said in private, "We need to keep the family together. Robyn has made her decision, but we must prevent this from getting worse. You all understand the meaning of loyalty." Janelle and Christine looked at each other knowingly. Loyalty? Cody had always been self-serving in his definition. For years, they had witnessed him degrade, abuse, and fire wives. Christine calmly remarked, "Cody, we're not falling for it. Robyn made a decision. Perhaps it's time for you to accept it." Cody, nevertheless, was not going to give up. In a last-ditch effort to regain prominence, he started going to public gatherings, doing interviews, and sharing carefully chosen images that supported his patriarchal image. However, each appointment simply served to emphasize Robyn's ascent and his waning power. Robyn and Ryan, meantime, were unstoppable. Their synergy was evident when they traveled for work and pleasure, hosted charity events, and even made appearances in local media. She demonstrated that she didn't need Cody and that life could be exciting without his approval with each appearance, which was a covert blow at him. Robyn grinned in her confessional, her eyes glimmering with victory. "Cody aimed to subjugate me, degrade me, and make me feel insignificant. However, I've taken back my authority. I'm doing well, and he is helpless to stop me as he watches everything happen." Cody was by himself at his house, pacing the living room as the chapter came to a close. Desperation cracked in his voice. "I can't let everything go, not in this manner." She will soon discover that Kody Brown never gives up if she believes she is untouchable. The battle lines were established, the players had moved, and the game itself had changed. It was about joy and liberation for Robyn. Survival was Kody's top priority, and the fight was far from ended. Kody had become obsessed as a result of his frustration. More than just his ego, Robyn's passing had destroyed his meticulously constructed persona as the unwavering head of the Brown household. And now that Robyn and Ryan were succeeding together, Kody felt helpless, hopeless, and stuck. He paced, murmuring to himself in the low light of his study. "She believes she can degrade me and go without my knowledge. I have to prove to her and to everyone else that Kody Brown is unbeatable." His scheme was audacious and dangerous. In an effort to get Robyn's attention back, Kody started planning public events that were meant to overshadow her. He used family gatherings, charity galas, and interviews as platforms to demonstrate his power and family unity. The media and fans, however, emphasized Robyn's happiness, her independence, and Ryan's subdued support, and each gambit backfired horribly. Kody appeared smaller in comparison with each try. Kody became frustrated and chose a more intimate tactic. He sent Robyn a note that was specifically designed to evoke strong feelings in her, reminding her of the years they had spent together, the family they had created, and the devotion he felt she owed him. He didn't think she would answer, not in the way he wanted. Naturally, Robyn did not fall for it. Her face was composed and strategic as she read his message. Ryan laughed when she presented it to him. Ryan described him as desperate. "You are also untouchable." Kody wasn't done, though. He knew Robyn and Ryan would be at a neighborhood fundraiser, so feeling confined, he made a dramatic public presence. He gave a speech on sacrifice, loyalty, and family while cameras filmed, a flimsy attempt to refocus attention on himself and sway the story to his advantage. Glowing with confidence, Robyn and Ryan walked into the event hand in hand. The audience's focus gradually turned to Robyn as Kody's speech went on, and she engaged with the audience by smiling. Kody became more and more agitated as the media captured her brilliance through photographs and videos. "She's making me look weak," Kody said in his confessional, his voice strained with rage. "She surpasses me in all I do. I can't lose in this manner. However, it feels that every action I take widens the hole." Robyn, on the other hand, made her confession without hesitation or regret. "Kody believes he can coerce, threaten, or degrade me into coming back. But I'm more powerful than he thought. This is about reclaiming the life that was nearly taken from me, not just about me." It was obvious by the end of the night that Kody's gamble had failed. His frantic attempts to regain control only served to emphasize Robyn's ascent. She served as a clear reminder to him and the rest of the world that some things were just out of his control because she was untouchable, radiant, and thriving. The next fight was set in motion. Robyn's confidence and independence had become a force that even Kody could not ignore, and his desperation would only grow. It had been strained in the weeks after Kody's public gamble. Every camera, every rumor, and every social media post served as a reminder of the never-ending conflict between Robyn's growing influence and Kody's desperation. Robyn had discovered, however, that the only way to prevail was to continue to be unflappable, self-assured, and unwavering. She had become even more intimate with Ryan. Together, they organized charity functions, went to prestigious social events, and even conducted interviews that were designed to emphasize her self-reliance, wit, and contentment. Cameras followed her everywhere, documenting her endurance and brilliance. Kody, however, was in a downward spiral. He seemed smaller, more desperate, and more frantic as a result of his desperate attempts to regain control through interviews, public appearances, and deceptive messaging. The world was watching him collapse because he had underestimated Robyn. The turning point was during a live, televised family reunion, which had previously represented Kody's dominance over the Browns. Robyn came in with Ryan poised and assured. Cameras panned in on her right away, catching every grin, every look, every moment of sincere happiness. Kody stood at the podium and spoke about family togetherness in an attempt to get attention. However, Robyn had become the center of attention for the audience. There were murmurs of enthusiasm and praise, but Cody's remarks were incoherent. He was presented as tight, agitated, and overshadowed in every frame and camera point. Robyn recalled in her confessional, "I was invisible, devoted, and supportive for years. I'm seen now. I am praised. What about Cody? There is nothing he can do about it. This is my happiness, my existence, and my set of rules. And I cannot lose that to anyone." Robyn had cemented her triumph by the end of the competition. The pair exuded confidence and affection as Ryan stood confidently by her side. Cody's expression was a mixture of resignation, annoyance, and shock. He had lost his position as the undisputed focal point of the family story, as well as the lady he believed he could dominate and degrade. From the sidelines, Christine and Janelle smiled triumphantly. For years, they had hoped that Robyn would assert her independence, strength, and self-respect. Robyn had risen and would not be dimmed, thus the patriarch was no longer in control. In the last scene, Robyn was seen grinning at the cameras as she walked confidently through the crowd with Ryan at her side. Her laughter, a cry of victory, self-reliance, and unwavering strength, reverberated throughout the space. All Cody could do was watch helplessly as the world rejoiced over the lady he had attempted to degrade and who had achieved greater success than he could have ever dreamed. Robyn had won the battle. She was the sole owner of the treasures after the end of the conflict. Let us know in your comments. And stay tuned by subscribing our channel to get more updates like this. Thanks everyone.